November the 9th, 1975, Superior, Wisconsin. I watched the Fitz depart the Yordock and start on his course for the Sioux. He proceeded up here and intersected the downbound course from the ships coming out of Duluth. Proceeded on that, and here's Two Harbors, Minnesota, where the Arthur M. Anderson came out. And his course, along this course to here, and this is where the Fitzgerald off of Devil's Island came together and proceeded down the regular course to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, of course. I and the Wilfred Sykes came out the same entrance, of course, and came along this course to Two Harbors, but had decided to stay up on the North Shore, all the way up along the North Shore, and in between Indiana and in between Iowa. And when I got up there, I'd take a look at the situation. As I'm proceeding up along the North Shore, I overheard the Fitzgerald and the Arthur M. Anderson talking about the weather and what they were going to do, and proceeding along, staying the same course, recommended course by the lake carriers. And they were talking about if the National Weather Bureau was accurate in their prediction of the low pressure system that was going to cross the lake, which they had predicted it was going to cut this in two and split the lake in two, which would have had east and west. You'd have had easterly weather over here and westerly over here. Well, around 2 o'clock in the morning, I was about in here, and the Fitzgerald was heading, I heard him steering 45 degrees. He wanted to get up from here to get some lee off of the oil rod because the wind was north to northeast and blowing 42 to 50 knots. In his conversation here, when he called the Arthur and Anderson and wanted to know what he was steering and what he was turning. He said he was turning 85 RPMs and going along pretty good under the lee of the island. When the Fitzgerald was in here, he said he was steering 45 degrees and was cut down to half speed because the ship was working so hard. Well, they proceeded up like this. I came up behind here, and the wind was 70 knots, maybe 80. I had gusts over 100 miles an hour. I can remember I steered on this island here to here. I came around here and anchored here. These guys proceeded up, heading up for the Slates. Now they were up in here, and as the low pressure system was northbound, they got into the eye of the storm around here someplace. And the wind and directions changed rapidly. And then they started their trip down. There's Outerhead, and there you are. You can take it from there. Very good, exceptional radar, because they were in so close to the land that they had their points of object was so clear, and their distances off and stuff was as near accurate as they were going to get. When they were going down and through here, of course, when they got closer to Michipicoten, it disappeared great on the radar, on the scope. And as you got down closer, just picked this up. But the closer you were to the object or to the land, the better the picture you got.
Well, tell me this. On what scale did you use operating in this area? What scale were you using? 12, 24 miles?
Well, I had both of my radars going. Of course, I wasn't up there, but they had. If you're in this close, you could use your 6 mile.
Really?
I had a spare is 150 miles.
No, I didn't have him visually. I had him on the radar. He was exactly 10 miles ahead of us.
So we can believe that the observations taken by the second mate on the Anderson, as I recall, 1252, where he got a fix off Outerhead here. And then after he fixed his position, I'm assuming that he was using a visual bearing, or he might have been using radar, but as soon as he got that bearing, then he turned to his radar and observed the Fitz.
Yes.
Some 7 or 8 miles, he reported. You believe that those were reliable fixes?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Frequent. course changes and everything that he made shortly after getting that fix off of Otterhead Dyke there tended to confuse the whole thing, and there's a lot of confusion about what was going on in this area right here. Some people think that Fitz got down in this area here, with the shoal area. In my opinion, I don't believe that happened at all. They believe that he went on the 141 course. Later on in the afternoons, in a conversation, somebody asked Fitz what course he was steering, and they reported 141. And ironically, the record of Fitz is laying down here, right on the course 141. So in my opinion, there's no reason to believe anything except the Fitz went to 141, stayed on 141.
Okay.
And there was confusion introduced here.
These are pretty accurate here. I mean, they come out pretty good.
And these plots that is on this chart here was made by Captain Paquette with me looking on, and these plots are accurate. No question in my mind about it.
Getting back over here to the east side with me, I went in here and anchored, and about 11:30, the wind shifted around to the northwest, and I hove up anchor, and I came down like this, and over here to Passage Island. When I got over here, the Roger Ball was hove to right in here. And I talked to him, and he was somewhat concerned about whether there was a big swell from the north to northeast, and I told him no, there was not. The wind was already 290, and that I was going to go down right this course, right to Whitefish, which we did. He came down behind me, stayed about 6 miles behind me, and we both came down and experienced 25, 30, 35-foot seas down in here. We came all the way down here to Caribou. We got down to Caribou about 3 o'clock in the morning or something, and we checked our speed rail down and continued down the track while waiting for daylight so that we could see the water, and if there was any wreckage or fuel oil. When I got down into here, I was in the middle of his bunker sea oil. I was just swimming with oil all over, and I saw the lifeboat and the raft and a lot of doors and mattresses and life jackets. And of course then the Fitzgerald was coming back over with quite a few ships behind him, and we searched in the area for survivors, which of course there was none.
I asked him how he was making out with his problem. He said he lost those vents and he had a lisp, and he said he was holding his own. The last time I talked with him, he said he was holding his own, and that's the last time I lost contact after that.